Hello. In this section I want to give a short overview of the main line of the Ruy Lopez. First I will show a part of a game in which I played an interesting system against the Ruy Lopez. After that I will give another game, quite a similar variation, not the real main line, but another game, and I will show this completely. Okay, the first game, I had black e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5, a6. This is a starting point. White has two main options. He can take the knight at c6, the so-called exchange variation, or he can retreat the bishop to a4, which is the main line. Knight f6, castling. Now, once more, black has several possibilities. The most solid move at this point is bishop e7. Rook e1 is a main line. Now white manages to take the knight at c6, followed by knight takes e5, winning a pawn. This is possible because the rook at e1 defends the pawn at e4. So because of the threat of winning a pawn, black is forced to defend by playing b5, bishop b3. At this point, black has two moves. The most aggressive move is castling, because in this after this move, black has the possibility of entering the martial attack. White has several moves that avoid it, but it leads to another kind of game. Then after d6, by this move, black abandons playing d5 as a gambit, and white isn't forced to play a4 at once, or h3 like in the anti-martial systems. So we can just continue with the main move, c3, preparing to play d4, castling, h3. You can play d4 of course, but after bishop g4, this system is quite solid for black. Okay, at this point we reached the starting point of the main line Ruy Lopez. Black has several systems. The most popular ones are the Zaitsev after bishop b7. Another move that is getting more and more popular is the so-called Breyer variation, starting with the rather odd-looking move knight b8. But a very interesting variation. However, I played the good old Chicherin lines, starting with knight a5, bishop retreats, c5, d4, queen c7. White has two moves at this point. He can close the center by d5, or he can play knight d2, which is the main move. And this is the real hardcore position of the Chicherin variation. Black has several opportunities, several moves he can play. The main line starts with c takes d4, c takes, and then knight c6. If we follow this line just a few moves more, white normally plays d5, attacks the bishop, it retreats. We make a square for the knight because it gets chased, and well, this is the most seen variation of the Chicherin. But it's not a move I play. I prefer to play knight c6 at this point, which is a strange move, because after the following d5, black is in some kind of trouble with the knight at c6. But I think the system is very nice, very playable for black after knight d8. This system, it doesn't really have a name until Maren, who wrote about it in his book about the Spanish repertoire, baptized it Rubinstein system, because Akiba Rubinstein used to play it a lot in the 20s and 30s of last century. I will show you some more moves. There's one point I'd like to note. We are at move 13 right now. I will show you until move 22. This was played in an official tournament game, and after 22 moves I had just used 1 minute of my time. My opponent already 1 hour. I say this because, as you will see in this game and in the following one, Black's plan and Black's IDs are very simple, especially in the opening. Okay, White continues with a4, which is the best move. He asks Black what to do with the b pawn. There are 2 possibilities. If he plays b4, this has the disadvantage of giving away c4, for example. Knight c4 is clearly better for White. So the normal move is rook b8, but this opens up the a file for White's rook. But okay, that's not a true problem. White played the best move, b4, after which I played bishop d7. If you look up this variation in Maren's book, you will see this is the starting point of his system. The best move for White here is b takes c5, but my opponent plays another logical move, knight f1, very logical in the Ruy Lopez. The disadvantage of this move, I guess, is that White is playing at 2 fronts. He has opened up the a file to play on the queen side, and now he is trying to get some play on the king side as well. And I don't think he is very well placed for doing all this. Okay, I played the following move without thinking, because, as I said, once you know the system, it's rather easy. You just retreat the knights to d8, e8, and as you will see, we will get them into play very fast. Bishop e3, just developing moves. White doesn't do anything strange in the opening. f6. Another possibility is to begin with g6, but in general I prefer to play f6 first, especially now because there's no knight f5. For example, if White had played knight g3 instead of bishop e3, I would have played g6, covering f5, and f6 on the next move. But after bishop e3, f6 at once is possible. Queen e2, knight f7. Once more, I just wave with g6. The idea of this is, for example, if I play g6, I can play bishop h6, knight g7. If I wait with g6, I might have time to play king h8, rook g8, bishop f8, bishop h6, because the knight is still at e8, not blocking the bishop to its way out. But okay, g6, knight g3, knight g7. After all, this is still the normal move for Black. And now, as you might see, Black's army is prepared for one very strong counter-strike that followed after rook a5, namely f5, which is rather problematic for White. I just managed to play f4, winning material. My opponent took and played f4, which is the only move for White. At this point I made an error. I believe the best move is bishop f6, just putting it on a good diagonal. For example, if White makes some kind of move, let's say knight f3, I can just win some material by the following exchanges. So this is the menace, but of course White can see that and defend against it. But after bishop f6, I believe Black has a very good, very solid position with some attacking chances against White's king. Okay, this was the part of the game in which I showed you the main line. I will repeat it shortly. This is the starting position of the Chigrin defense after knight a5, and after some more mainstream moves, I play knight c6, which offers White the opportunity to close the center and after which black retreats both knights to the last rank. Now in the second part of this video I will show you another game with another variation, but very similar in piece play.